This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
How to make narcissists vulnerable. Dealing with a narcissist can feel like trying to break down an impenetrable wall. Narcissists are often seen as invincible, shielded by their inflated sense of self-worth and a constant need for admiration and validation. However, beneath their arrogant and confident exterior lies a fragile ego that can be vulnerable if approached in the right way. Understanding how to make a narcissist vulnerable requires insight into their insecurities and carefully navigating their behavior. The goal isn't to harm them, but to create emotional distance or disarm their manipulative tendencies so you can regain control and protect yourself. Here are strategies to make narcissists vulnerable. 1. Don't feed their ego. Narcissists thrive on admiration, praise, and validation. They constantly seek external affirmation to maintain their inflated self-image. One of the most effective ways to make a narcissist vulnerable is to stop feeding their ego. When a narcissist is no longer getting the attention or validation they crave, they may start to feel insecure or question their self-worth. Instead of giving them constant praise or admiration, limit your compliments and be more neutral in your interactions. Don't engage in their self-aggrandizing conversations, and avoid praising them excessively. The lack of validation can cause them to feel unimportant or unworthy, leading to vulnerability. 2. Expose their inconsistencies. Narcissists often present a carefully curated image of themselves to the world. They want to appear flawless and superior to others. By pointing out their inconsistencies, contradictions, or faults, you can expose cracks in their facade, making them more vulnerable. For example, if a narcissist claims to be perfect in all aspects of their life, calmly point out areas where they have shown weakness or failure, without directly attacking them. Use factual statements that highlight discrepancies in their story. Narcissists can't stand being exposed or shown to be imperfect, and this can make them feel insecure, triggering defensive behavior. However, be cautious not to engage in direct confrontation, as this can provoke aggressive reactions. Instead, use subtle hints to make them question their own narrative. 3. Challenge their sense of control. Narcissists thrive on power and control, and they use various tactics to dominate those around them. By challenging their sense of control, you can make them feel powerless, which directly threatens their sense of superiority. This can be done by standing firm on your boundaries and refusing to let them manipulate or dictate your actions. If they try to assert control over a situation, assert your independence and decision-making power. When they realize they can't manipulate you into doing their bidding, it can cause them to feel vulnerable and unsure of their ability to maintain control. For instance, if they try to guilt trip or manipulate you into doing something for them, politely and firmly say no. When they realize their usual tactics are not working, they will feel destabilized. 4. Withhold your emotional reactions. Narcissists feed off of emotional reactions from others. They use people's emotional vulnerabilities to manipulate and control them. By withholding your emotional reactions, you deny them the fuel they need to feel powerful and important. If a narcissist is attempting to provoke you or manipulate your emotions, remain calm and composed. Don't let them see you upset, frustrated, or angry, as this only gives them the satisfaction of knowing they can provoke you. Instead, respond to them with calm detachment. This forces them to confront their own lack of power over you. The more you resist their attempts to stir up emotional turmoil, the more vulnerable they may become. Without their emotional supply, their confidence begins to erode. 5. Set boundaries and stick to them. Narcissists struggle with boundaries because they believe they are entitled to manipulate others for their own gain. Setting clear and firm boundaries is one of the best ways to make a narcissist vulnerable. When you set boundaries and refuse to tolerate their manipulative or abusive behavior, you are essentially denying them control over you. Narcissists depend on others' compliance to sustain their fragile self-image. By setting limits and standing firm, you force them to face their inability to control or manipulate you. This can cause them to feel exposed and vulnerable, as their typical strategies no longer work. For example, if they demand your time or attention at inappropriate moments, calmly and respectfully set the limit by saying, "I can't engage right now, we can talk later when I have time." Be consistent in upholding your boundaries, even when they attempt to push or manipulate you. 6. Don't engage in their drama. Narcissists love to create drama and chaos to maintain the focus on themselves. If you refuse to engage in their drama or escalate conflicts, it will leave them feeling unsupported and vulnerable. When a narcissist tries to provoke you or create an emotional crisis, avoid getting drawn into the conflict. Stay calm, avoid reacting to their provocations, and deflect their attempts to draw you into a confrontation. Narcissists rely on drama to fuel their sense of power and control, so when you disengage, they may feel powerless and vulnerable. 7. Show indifference to their opinions and needs. Narcissists often feel entitled to having their opinions, needs, and desires prioritized. One way to make a narcissist vulnerable is to show indifference to their constant need for attention, validation, and control over others' lives. For instance, if a narcissist is going on and on about their accomplishments or personal opinions, don't give them the enthusiastic response they expect. Instead, remain neutral, or show polite indifference. You don't need to agree with them, praise them, or provide validation. By ignoring their need for constant admiration, you make them feel insignificant and powerless. 8. Use their insecurity against them, but carefully. While this tactic should be used with caution, you can make a narcissist vulnerable by subtly pointing out their insecurities. Narcissists often mask deep-seated insecurities with their grandiose self-image, and they are highly sensitive to anything that threatens this image. If a narcissist displays arrogance or superiority, you might calmly point out how their need for validation stems from a deep insecurity or fear of being inadequate. However, be cautious. Narcissists can react very aggressively if they feel their insecurities are exposed too directly. This tactic should be used sparingly and only if you're sure you can handle the potential fallout. 9. Don't let them get under your skin. Narcissists are skilled at triggering emotional reactions. If you refuse to let them get under your skin, you take away their ability to manipulate and control you. Narcissists feed on your emotional reactions because it gives them a sense of power. By remaining calm, composed, and emotionally detached, you deny them that fuel. If they insult or belittle you, resist the urge to defend yourself or argue. Simply respond with indifference, or calmly walk away. Narcissists thrive on reactions, so by showing that their words have no power over you, you make them feel weak and vulnerable. Conclusion. Making a narcissist vulnerable is not about being cruel or seeking revenge, but about creating emotional distance and taking control of your own well-being. Narcissists rely on manipulation, admiration, and emotional control to maintain their self-esteem, and by understanding how to navigate their behavior, you can disarm them and regain your personal power. By withholding emotional reactions, setting boundaries, exposing their insecurities, and refusing to engage in their drama, you can force a narcissist to confront their own vulnerabilities. However, it's important to remember that narcissists can be highly unpredictable, and any attempt to make them vulnerable may result in defensive or retaliatory actions. Always prioritize your emotional safety and well-being above all else when dealing with a narcissist.